As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the neighborhood, I made my way to Kylie's house. She had been my close friend for as long as I could remember, and tonight was her special day. It was her birthday, and she had invited me to celebrate with her and her family. The anticipation bubbled inside me as I approached her front door. I could hear the faint strains of music and laughter drifting through the air, signaling the festivities already underway. With a quick knock, I was welcomed into the lively atmosphere of Kylie's birthday party. Balloons adorned the ceiling, their colorful hues dancing in the soft light. The aroma of homemade treats filled the air, teasing my senses with promises of delicious delights. Everywhere I looked, smiling faces greeted me, friends and family alike, all gathered to celebrate Kylie's special day. Kylie herself was radiant, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she greeted each guest with warmth and cheer. She wore a beautiful birthday gown, the fabric shimmering in the soft glow of the room. I couldn't help but admire how lovely she looked, the epitome of birthday joy. As the evening progressed, laughter filled the room, mingling with the joyful chatter of friends reuniting and memories being made. It was a celebration to remember, a testament to the bond we shared with Kylie and each other. After indulging in cake and laughter, I decided to explore Kylie's house, curious to see more of her world. I climbed the staircase, the wooden steps creaking softly beneath my feet. At the top, I found myself in a hallway lined with closed doors, each one a mystery waiting to be unlocked. One door, however, stood ajar, a sliver of light peeking through the crack. Intrigued, I pushed it open gently, revealing a cozy bedroom bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. It felt familiar and welcoming, as if I had stepped into a cherished memory. In the center of the room, sitting on the bed, was Kylie. Her back was turned to me, facing the window, her silhouette illuminated by the fading light. She looked so peaceful, lost in her thoughts, unaware of my presence. "Kylie," I said softly, my voice filled with warmth and affection. "You look absolutely beautiful. Happy birthday." There was no response, no acknowledgement of my words. Kylie remained silent, her gaze fixed on the world beyond the window. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do, before deciding to leave her to her solitude. As I made my way downstairs, the laughter and chatter of the party enveloped me once more, wrapping me in a comforting embrace. I mingled with the guests, sharing stories and smiles, but my mind kept drifting back to Kylie's room and the strange encounter I had just experienced. As I descended the staircase, the lively sounds of laughter and conversation welcomed me back into the heart of the party. I rejoined the guests, swapping stories and laughter, yet my thoughts remained fixated on the peculiar incident in Kylie's room. Amidst the cheerful ambiance, I caught sight of Kylie's smiling face, her eyes twinkling with joy as she greeted me. Overwhelmed by curiosity and a lingering sense of unease, I couldn't help but voice my confusion. Standing before me was Kylie, her eyes wide with confusion as she looked at me. She wore the same birthday gown, the same smile that had greeted me earlier in the evening. It was impossible, unthinkable, and yet there she stood, a living contradiction to the encounter I had just experienced. "Kylie," I stammered, my voice trembling with uncertainty. "I saw you upstairs, in your room. How did you get down here so quickly?" Kylie's brow furrowed in confusion, her expression mirroring my bewilderment. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern. "I've been downstairs the whole time. Are you feeling okay?" My heart raced as I struggled to make sense of the inexplicable events that had unfolded. Had I imagined the figure in Kylie's room, or was there something more sinister at play? The questions swirled in my mind, unanswered and unsettling. But as I gazed into Kylie's earnest eyes, I knew that the truth lay beyond the realm of rational explanation. Something mysterious had unfolded within the confines of her house, something that defied logic and reason. With a heavy heart, I pushed aside my doubts, choosing instead to revel in the warmth of Kylie's company and the camaraderie of the party. After the party ended, the strange and frightening experience I had earlier lingered in my mind like a haunting melody. Kylie, sensing my unease, kindly offered me a place to spend the night and prepared a room for me to rest. As exhaustion overtook me, I fell into a deep slumber, seeking refuge from the events of the evening. However, my rest was disturbed by a sensation of movement on my legs, like tiny insects skittering across my skin. Startled, I rose from the bed to investigate, only to be confronted by a terrifying sight. A dark entity, with eyes as black as the night and long tangled hair, hovered over me, reaching towards my face. Fear gripped me and I screamed for help, but my cries went unheard. The entity whispered in my ear, "I'm Kylee." It hissed, its words dripping with malice, a declaration that sent chills down my spine. Though her face was twisted and decayed, her eyes held a resemblance to Kylie's, filling me with dread. Summoning my courage, I reached out to touch her face, but as I did, she let out a horrifying scream, her features contorting into a mask of anger and malice. I screamed in terror, my heart pounding in my chest. Fleeing from the room, I found myself in a dark hallway, the shadows closing in around me. I glanced back and saw the woman, her distorted figure crawling towards me with unnatural speed. Panic seized me, and I ran until I reached the end of the hallway, trapped in the living room. As I stood there paralyzed with fear, I watched in horror as the woman descended the staircase, her pale skin and dark eyes fixed upon me. I screamed, the sound echoing through the empty house. In a moment of desperation, I closed my eyes, hoping to escape the nightmare that surrounded me. When I opened them, the woman's face loomed inches from mine, and everything went black. As I stirred awake, I found Kylee and her mom hovering over me, their faces etched with concern. They were gently fanning me with a fan, their gestures filled with care and tenderness. Confused and disoriented, I mustered the strength to inquire about what had transpired. Kylee, with a mixture of relief and worry in her voice, explained that they had discovered me lying in the living room when she went to fetch a glass of water. I listened intently, trying to piece together the events of the night before. Feeling a sense of urgency, I recounted the horrifying ordeal I had endured, the details still fresh in my mind. Kylee and her mom exchanged a knowing glance, their expressions betraying a hint of apprehension. As their eyes met, a palpable tension hung in the air, a silent acknowledgement of the inexplicable events that had unfolded within the confines of their home. In that moment, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than met the eye, and I resolved to uncover the truth, no matter how unsettling it may be. In the quiet of the afternoon after we shared a meal, Kylee led me to her room, her demeanor fraught with apprehension and fear. As we settled on her bed, she confided in me, expressing the urgency of her inquiry about the events of the previous night. Kylie's shock was palpable as she reached for a photo, her hands trembling with emotion. As I gazed upon the image, I felt a knot form in my stomach. There, in the faded photograph, was the face of the woman from my nightmares, bearing a striking resemblance to Kylee as a child. As we studied the photo together, Kylie's tears began to flow, each droplet a testament to the pain and guilt she carried within her. She revealed to me the truth, that the woman in the photo was her twin sister, Kaylee. Memories flooded back as Kylee recounted their childhood together, the inseparable bond they shared, and the tragic accident that had torn them apart. A game of hide-and-seek gone awry, a moment of fear and confusion, and Kaylee's life was tragically cut short. In the aftermath of the accident, Kylee had buried the memories of her twin deep within her subconscious, the weight of guilt and sorrow too heavy to bear. Yet the specter of Kylee had lingered in the shadows, a haunting reminder of the past she could never escape. As Kylee shared her story, the weight of her pain hung heavy in the air, a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring bonds of family. In that moment, amidst tears and shared grief, I vowed to stand by Kylee, to help her confront the ghosts of her past and find peace amidst the turmoil of her memories. In the quiet of the night, as I lay beside Kylee, we clasped our hands together and offered up a prayer for peace and solace in our slumber. Little did we know, the night held more than we could have ever imagined. Suddenly, I was jolted awake by the piercing sound of Kylie's scream. echoing through the darkness like a haunting melody. In an instant, her mother burst into the room, her eyes wide with fear, as we bore witness to a sight that chilled us to the bone. There, before us, stood the ghastly figure of Kaylee, Kylie's twin sister, her visage twisted and rotten with anger and pain. Accusations tumbled from her lips, blaming Kylee for her untimely demise, her words laced with bitterness and sorrow. Tears streamed down Kylie's face as she confronted the specter of her past, unable to bear the weight of her sister's anguish. Their mother wept beside them, pleading for forgiveness and offering love in the face of such profound grief. In a moment of sheer desperation, Kylee embraced her twin sister, her arms a shield against the storm of resentment and sorrow. In that tender embrace, a miracle unfolded, a gesture of love so pure, it shattered the darkness that enveloped them. With tears in her eyes, Kylee confessed to the truth, accepting responsibility for the tragedy that had torn them apart. She begged for forgiveness, willing to bear the consequences of her actions, even if it meant sacrificing her own life. Kylee broke free from Kaylee's grasp and dashed toward the window, leaping out into the night. Shocked, Kaylee hurried after her, desperate to save her sister. As they floated down from the window, a miraculous transformation occurred. Kaylee changed into a beautiful woman just like Kylee. With tears in her eyes, Kaylee embraced her sister and whispered, "I forgive you, my loving sister." Together they plummeted to the ground below, bound by love and forgiveness, ready to face whatever awaited them. That eerie night seemed to swallow us whole, leaving only the anguished cries of Kylie's mother to break the heavy silence. My heart ached with shock and disbelief, struggling to comprehend the suddenness of it all. Summoning every ounce of courage, I hurried outside, my senses reeling with fear. In the backyard, I found Kylee lying peacefully, her face serene as if lost in a gentle slumber. But the truth hung heavy in the air. Kylee was no longer with us. Tears flowed freely down her mother's cheeks as she cradled Kylee in her arms, her grief pouring out into the stillness of the night. Standing before the tombstones of Kylee and Kaylee, I offer up bouquets, a small tribute to the beautiful souls we lost too soon. My heart aches with the absence of Kylee, her memory etched forever in my mind. As I linger by their graves, memories of laughter and love flood my thoughts, a bittersweet reminder of the precious moments we shared. Though Kylee may be gone, her spirit lives on in the hearts of those who loved her. With each flower I place, I whisper a silent prayer, hoping that Kylee and Kaylee have found peace in the afterlife. They may be gone from this world, but their presence lingers on, a beacon of light in the darkness of our grief.